You tell yourself audiobooks are superior, efficient, convenient. Last year, you finished 20 books. You felt accomplished. You felt smarter. But here's what you didn't know. You remember almost none of it. And it's not because you're getting older. It's because of something 67% of audiobook users do. And it's destroying your comprehension without you feeling a thing. Audiobooks and reading aren't just different ways to consume the same content. Your brain processes them in fundamentally different ways. And the difference isn't what you think. Because the real problem isn't audiobooks. It's the invisible habits that come with them. Habits that create the illusion of learning, while your actual understanding evaporates. Researchers at UC Berkeley put people in brain scanners, had them read stories, then listen to the same stories. And what they found changed everything we thought we knew. The brain scans looked identical. Whether you read a story or heard it, the same parts of your brain lit up, the same emotional centers, the same language regions, the same meaning-making networks. Case closed, right? Audiobooks and reading, same thing. Not even close, because those brain scans measured where you end up, but they didn't measure how you got there. And that journey, the path your brain takes to reach understanding, that's where everything falls apart. Here's what the researchers discovered when they looked at real-world behavior. They surveyed thousands of audiobook users, and 67%, 2 out of every 3 people, were multitasking, driving, exercising, doing dishes, folding laundry. And here's what they didn't know. Multitasking doesn't exist. What we call multitasking is actually task switching. Your brain rapidly bouncing between 2 activities. And every time it bounces, you lose something. Researchers compared people who listened to educational content while multitasking versus people who just listened with full attention. The multitaskers scored 30 to 40% lower on comprehension tests. But here's the kicker. They felt just as confident as the focused listeners. They thought they learned everything. They didn't. This is what scientists call a metacognitive failure. Your brain's ability to judge its own understanding is broken. You feel like you're learning, while your actual comprehension is falling off a cliff. And you have no idea it's happening. When you multitask, audiobooks become background noise, like wallpaper. And wallpaper doesn't teach you anything. Reading doesn't have this problem. Not because readers are smarter or more disciplined, but because reading makes multitasking nearly impossible. Your eyes have to be on the page. Your hands have to hold the book. Reading forces presence. Audiobooks allow absence. And your brain knows the difference. But let's say you're the perfect listener. You sit still. You focus. You never multitask. You are still failing. Because there is a second trap. One that means your brain is physically incapable of processing deep ideas through audio alone. The moment content gets complex, everything changes. Researchers had people either read or listened to detailed information about World War II, dates, causes, key decisions, consequences. Then they asked them to explain what they learned. The listeners scored 28% lower, not because they weren't paying attention, but because complex material requires you to go back. And if you're the type who does this, who rereads sentences, who pauses to think, who goes back to check, you're not slow. You're not overthinking. Your brain is doing what it's supposed to do with complex ideas. Reading lets you pause and regress. Listening forces you to move on. When you're reading, checking back takes 3 seconds. When you're listening, you have to remember where you were, rewind, find the spot. Most people don't bother. they keep going, and comprehension keeps dropping. Schopenhauer wished we could buy the time to read books. But he was wrong. We don't need more time. We need more presence. And if you're listening at 1.5x or 2x speed, which more and more people do to save time, you're making it worse. Research shows comprehension stays solid up to about 1.5x speed. Beyond that, retention starts falling. At 2.5x, it crashes. But people speed up anyway because it feels efficient. It feels productive. You're covering more ground, except you're not actually learning what you're covering. The books blur together. The concepts never stick. But you keep adding to your books finished list and wondering why nothing changes. So, does this mean audiobooks are bad? No. It means audiobooks are a tool. And like any tool, they're perfect for some jobs and terrible for others. Here's what the research actually suggests. Use audiobooks for fiction, for memoirs, for narratives where the plot carries you forward, where entertainment matters more than retention, where you're genuinely relaxing, not trying to multitask, where a skilled narrator's voice adds emotional depth. But when you need to actually learn something, when the content is complex, when you're studying, not just consuming, when details matter more than the overall story, that's when you read. Not because reading is superior, but because reading matches how your brain processes difficult material. Reading lets you pause, reread, annotate, build spatial memory of where ideas live on the page. Control your pace, check your understanding, and never combine audiobooks with multitasking and call it learning. That's not efficiency. That's self-deception. You're not saving time. You're wasting it on the illusion of productivity. I used to listen to audiobooks at 2x speed thinking I was optimizing my time. But I was just a prisoner in Plato's cave. Plato wrote about people chained in a cave, watching shadows on the wall, thinking shadows were reality. That was me, watching the shadows of ideas move past at double speed, never actually touching them, never really understanding them. Real understanding takes time, takes presence, takes the humility to admit, maybe faster isn't always better. Maybe finishing isn't the same as learning. Maybe efficiency is the enemy of wisdom. If this changed how you think about learning, subscribe. We're exploring more neuroscience that actually changes how you live. Drop a comment. Are you team audiobook, team reading, or somewhere in between? And be honest. Do you multitask while listening?